everyone! Today I'm going to be going over what I look for when I'm looking for foods in the grocery store, how I read the labels, and how I make sure that I avoid fructose. When trying to understand how to read labels for most foods, there are 3 specific things that I like to look for. The first thing, I have a jar of Alfredo sauce right here. The first thing that I do is I'll turn it to the back and go to nutrition facts, and then down here I will go to total sugars and make sure that is 0 grams. The next thing that you would want to do is check the total added sugars. You would want that to be 0 grams as well. The third thing that you would want to do is you would want to go to the ingredients and read that. You'd want to make sure that there's no sweeteners in there, which it looks like there are a few in here, and that's probably why it has 1 gram. I like to eat the foods that only says 0 grams of total sugars and 0 grams of added sugars, as well as ones that do not have in the ingredients sugar in it. Some foods will say total sugar 0 grams and total added sugar 0 grams, but then you'll go to the ingredients and it will say sugar in it, and so you'd want to avoid that as well. There are options out there that you can find that will check all of those 3 boxes. So that's the way I like to read the labels. Now with yogurt, the reason why I wanted to talk about yogurt is because yogurt is different. There are other foods that are different as well, but I'm going to specifically talk about yogurt today. So when you're looking for a yogurt that is not sweet, the first thing you want to check for is plain yogurt. You want to make sure that it's plain. You do not want to do strawberry or banana or blueberry. It needs to be plain yogurt. So I have this plain yogurt right here. I always like to do organic. So if you go to the back of yogurt, it's going to be a little bit different when you're reading the total sugars. The total sugars, this has 7 grams of total sugars, but the sugars that is in yogurt is lactose. It is not fructose. So if you have plain yogurt, as long as there's not any added sugars in there, this should be okay to eat. You always want to make sure that you talk to a professional to make sure that you have the right information, because everybody's different. But for me, what I do is I get plain yogurt, I go to the total sugars, usually this one says 7 grams, and then included added sugars, that says 0 grams. For yogurt, you want to make sure that the added sugars is 0 grams. That usually means that it doesn't have fructose in. In the ingredients, you will check that. That would be the last thing that you would want to check, and this just has milk and cream. So this one is okay to have. And you know that because you checked the added sugars, which is 0, and then you looked at the ingredients and there is no added sugars in there. It's just milk and cream. And milk and cream is okay to have. Lactose should be okay for people with HFI to have, as long as they do not have any other underlying conditions. I have found dairy products are okay for me to have as long as they do not have any added sugars in there. I'm going to do a recap on what I look for when going to the grocery store. There are 3 things for pretty much every item that you would want to look for. The first one is you would look at the total sugars that it has. You want to make sure it says 0 grams unless it's lactose. The next thing you would want to check for, which if it has added sugars in any product, including yogurt, it's most likely has fructose in. And so you'd want to avoid any products if the total added sugars is not 0. You want to make sure that the total added sugars is 0 as well. Even just 1 gram can be harmful, so you want to make sure that you do 0 grams. Now there are some times where the total sugars will be 0, and then the added sugars will be 0, and there will be sugar in the ingredients. You still want to avoid that, because that still is going to harm your liver. Sometimes there will be food items that you go to the back and you look at the nutritional facts, and it says it has added sugars, but it doesn't have fructose in. This usually could be because of some other sugar, which one is lactose, which I already talked to you about. Another sugar that could be in the ingredients that you would look for that is okay to have would be dextrose. If you look in the ingredients and it has dextrose for the added sugars, then those are okay to have for somebody with HFI, as long as there's not any other sweetener in there that has fructose in it. If it's only sweetened by dextrose, the food item you're looking at should be okay. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I would like to know what things you guys would like to see, what videos you would like me to make. I plan to go to certain restaurants and go over menu items and show you all the things that you can have there. If there are any specific restaurants you would like me to make a video of, then I can go ahead and do that as well. Thank you so much.